I told them I didn't a quarter of an hour ago.
Trying to condense 20 years into one memory is very, very difficult.
In the whole newsroom, he just said, Santa's walked out on Steve, and everyone started cheering.
Journalism can be very, very rewarding.
Oh my gosh, yes, that was also such a thrill.
A free for all.
L-iktar interessanti mill-lum il-ġurnata.
Ejwa. I joined the Times in 1964. And I was lucky to have joined there, and then it was 6 months before independence. So I reported many events about the birth of a state.
Someone approached me and they said, look, would you be interested? And I said, well, probably not, but I'll sort of try it from, I'll come for a month or two. It would be nice to spend that in Malta. So I did. And 18 years later, I left.
When I graduated, I joined the Times immediately. It was 1996. I was initially not looking for a full-time job. I wanted to enjoy the summer. I had just graduated. I was planning on working on my tan and not having to spend such long hours. But anyways, I landed the job and in May 1996, and I spent 20 years.
In the early 70s, I used to work for a newspaper, a Maltese newspaper called El Haya, which was run by the church. Eventually, after a few years there, I moved on to the Times as a reporter, then became an assistant editor, an editor.
I started working here in 1995. That's 30 years ago.
Il-papa tiegħi għalli jisma' għalli hemmhekk għandek kuġin li dak iż-żmien kien assistant editor tat-Times. Għalli ikteb ittra lil Mabel Strickland li kienet proprjetarja u xejn tat-Times. U wara xi ġimma bagħtet għalija, intervistatni l-Villa Pariġio. U bdejt naħdem tħalt newsroom reporter. Minn 3 ġimgħat, taf kemm saru?
Kemm saru?
44 sena.
Wow.
Għamilt 44 sena Sunday Times jien. I was arrested and thrown in a police cell like a criminal, like a murderer. And he came over and said there was an incident in Floriana where someone threw an explosive device at industrialists coming out of a meeting. A few days later, they arrested me and they wanted to know who told us. I told them, no way. They threw me in a cell and I was released late the following morning. There was the fire, obviously.
Yeah. You were directly
I was caught in the building, actually.
Yes.
I was one of those caught in the building. I saw the people coming, and then no time the whole building was in place. Many of the workers climbed down ladders from the back of the building. I ran away through the main door, actually, on burning debris. Literally, the main staircase was falling, and I was light then. And I, just jumped over flames and everything, to be met by Labour supporters clapping, and that's the end of the Times of Malta. People were lucky because there were chemicals, drums of chemicals around, and had it not been for the courage of one man, Falzon, Mabel called him the horse because he was a big man. Had it not been for him to move these drums, they would have exploded and probably a lot of people would have been killed.
Mary Fenekadami, the wife of Eddie Fenekadami, had collapsed, and most probably, it was thought at the time that she probably passed away. She hadn't yet. We've just sent the paper to print. This is a big moment. I spoke to a designer who was still there. I spoke to the printers quickly, and they said, look, okay, we'll stop things. So we went back upstairs, and we spent the next hour and a half turning the paper upside down. I was reorganizing the logistical side of the paper, trying to work out where everything could fit. In the meantime, Herman and I think Caroline Muscat at the time were trying to, figure out exactly what the story was. But I'm telling the story because for me, it was just one of these remarkable turnarounds, when you think the paper's gone, etc., etc. And in that hour, we absolutely spun it on its head, and it came out. So,
and it shows how quickly things can change in this.
And it shows how quickly things can change.
One of the stories that for me I'm really passionate about to this day would be the story of the shoebox baby. It was April Fool's, so April 1st, 2007. It was a Sunday and the newsroom was just wrapping up. So when you get that call to kind of be told, oh, there's a baby who's been put in a shoebox and has just been found on the street, and you're going, it's an April Fool's joke. But anyways, let's just not take the risk. So I volunteered to go, and basically a newborn baby had been found by kids who were playing in the street, and he was in this shoebox. So she gave birth on her own, and her plan was to give the baby to the nuns at night time. But so she wrapped the baby in a beach towel and put him in a shoebox to keep him warm, and was waiting for the right time. Her mother, who was totally distraught by her own mother's loss, was clearing up. And anyway, she sees this box and says, what's this doing here? She picked it up and took it outside, not even opening it, not even realizing to check what's inside. The mother always wanted to have the baby back. She was really attached, and she had never spoken up, never told or shared her story. And so I kept persisting. And the only reason I kept persisting is because I wanted her to get the chance to set the record straight. And I wanted the boy to understand when he grows up that his mother loved him, that there is something on record showing her deep love for this kid. After 3 years of me constantly having the phone every April Fool's calling, she entrusted me with her story, and she set the record straight. She explained how difficult it was for her to go through all this, because her mom had gotten pregnant as a young girl. Her grandmother too. She hadn't wanted to be, the third in a generation to be a single mom. But anyways, she was a woman who wanted to change. She loved her kid. She worked very hard to get him back, to win the trust of the social services. And today that boy is 18 years old. He's still loved. He's still close to his mom. And it's an incredible story that I'm glad was told.
I came right after the Times was razed to the ground. So it was literally building from scratch. Life was not easy, but everybody stuck together. We had the support of a lot of people. Readers supported us. Many people who were not directly involved supported us. And that gives you a good boost. I think if you were to ask me which was the single most significant episode in my career, I would say that was it. Even though it had already been, the attack has already been held, when I went there and I could see this devastation, and we worked within this devastation, you do realize how important it is to be determined in your work.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you were also doing some Times Talk episodes, correct?
I did some Times Talk. Oh my gosh, yes, that was also such a thrill to be asked to join Herman and Bertrand in those days. I think it was interesting because people didn't expect this young slip of a girl to ask questions which would put people on the spot. So I think we had a great time. I think what we were most proud of was the fact that we worked as a team. I had a wonderful team. At one point we were 10 people in the newsroom, plus Parliament, court, photographers, and so on. We didn't have videographers in those days. Obviously it was just a print newspaper. But everybody worked as a team.
Nsemmiha bil-fors l-inċident tal-15 Ottubru tal-1979. Nkiteb anki ktieb Viktora Kurina, kollega tiegħi li kien id-Direttur Times, kiteb ktieb fuq hekk jismu Black Monday. Dak il-ħin kont il-Parlament. Mbagħad ġie r-reporter Charles Micheli u għalli hemmhekk it-Times qed taqbad. Għatlu x'inhu jien Times qed taqbad. Mbagħad tlaqt niġri t-Times. Kif mort it-Times insib dal-nirien għaddejjin, u l-karozza tiegħi li kienet ipparkjata quddiem it-Times ma sibtix.
Sar minna, insiba ġiex kantunieri l-isfel, miksija rmiet. U qabiż li dmuħ, frankament, qabiż li dmuħ dak il-ħin, ma nija santament.
Was it what you expected?
Look, one of the good things about it, and one of the things that helps you survive, is that you don't know what to expect. So each day you come in, and each day tends to be quite different. There's always an element of routine, but things happen, events happen. It was a hugely exciting period as soon as I came. I mean, I joined in March of 1998. There was a big government crisis going on. There was Don Mintoff bringing a government down. It was massively exciting, So if that doesn't grab you, then not much does. But you do spend a lot of time in the office, and you do, the hours were extremely long, and so there is a certain price to pay. But we all felt at that time that the price was really worth it.
We also are in a social media age where if anyone wants to share their story, they have all the liberty in the world to just go on any sort of social media platform and share it themselves. From the perspective of a journalist, how can we continue to ensure to people that Times of Malta is a place you can trust with your story?
So, first of all, being a journalist is an incredible privilege, and you are bearing witness to history, and it's also a privilege to be entrusted with people's stories. And the Times of Malta has been that reference for 90 years, the point of reference for 90 years, which is an incredible legacy to have. Social media has given a voice to everyone. It matters, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, truth gets drowned out or distorted. Now, more than ever, it's critical to remain truthful to the fundamental principles of journalism, to be fair, to inform, and to ensure that no matter what medium or social platform there is, that the truth gets out and the story gets out in a way that people can trust. And I think it's important that journalists don't lose the human element or the human touch.
What would you say to anyone who might be thinking of getting into journalism?
Go for it.
Yeah.
But you have to get rid of any delusions. For many, journalism may look like a glamorous job, which in a way it is, as I just explained, because you meet people, you have opportunity. I mean, I traveled so much thanks to journalism, so much, and had so many experiences many people would never dream of having. This is no 9-to-5 job, especially now, where you have deadlines every second, not every other second. Where it's easier to check the truth nowadays, to come to the truth, because there are many other sources. But it's so easy to come across fake news. So, yes, go for journalism, but work hard on it. Work hard on it to get there, and be prepared to work hard when you are there.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With all that's going on, how, as journalists, can we take care more of our readers to kind of not overwhelm them so much, but to also inform them?
My gut instinct is to say that it's a lost cause, because of course people are relying so much on social media. People are relying on other people. It is citizen dialogue which counts now, and I think that people are getting their news from other people, and then they want to check, hang on a minute though, that isn't what I read, what is the truth? And they will always keep going back to proper media houses to see what that is. I don't think people understand the difference between journalism and a blog. The fact that you have an editor, the fact that you have everything is peer reviewed, if you like. You can't just take a couple of facts and put them together and publish them. You have to check them beforehand.
You mentioned a really good point of, for example, if there's an explosion or something, sometimes you have to hold a minute and not just, of course, check about the relatives being aware if there has been a fatality, but sometimes just check when did it happen? How was it true? Exactly, you know. So, and sometimes these details are slipped away when you have social media and people just posting things automatically, you know, and then you...
Do you think that 25, 30 years ago, we would have needed somebody like Neville Borge to do the fact-checking? I mean, the fact that it's there already says a lot to me about the level of news that people are receiving, what they believe, and I hope that these fact-checks and so on will challenge people to think for themselves.
L-aħħar mistoqsija u forsi tgħidli hekk 5 adjectives malaj kif kienet Mabel?
Mabel? Mabel kienet ġeneruża ħafna, però unpredictable, kienet intelligenti wkoll, ġifieri kellha esperjenza, però kienet daqsxejn kif ngħid l-unpredictability tagħha qatt ma tkun taf eżatt xi trid u ma tridx, u allura ċerti nies kienu jħossuhom daqsxejn insecure, imma difatti kienet ġeneruża, kienet tgħin anke l-impjegati, eċċetera. Kienet kuraġġuża, bniedma kuraġġuża, infatti kienet mara formidabbli, ħanajdu hekk. M'hemmx argument. Kienet mara formidabbli. Diki, u tat kontribut għall-istorja ta' Malta wkoll.
Tajjeb, thank you.
Okay.
Tajjeb, thank you ħafna.
I've been told by people who used to work with you that you had a certain catchphrase. There was a certain question that you used to ask all journalists most days, every day, not every day, which was, what are you doing to justify your existence? So I'm going to ask you the same thing now. What are you doing to justify your existence?
Today?
Yes.
Well, I'm justifying my existence perhaps by continuing to researching. I'm still very much into research. I love researching things, so I research for writing a bit of history.
Thanks
for
a
my
lot.
sins.
It was really nice chatting with you. Thanks a lot.